Thousands of music lovers gathered in Jamaica this week to honor Sly Dunbar, and for many of them, it was far more than a funeral. It felt like the closing of a chapter that helped define reggae music for more than 5 decades. This was not just about losing a legendary drummer. It was about saying goodbye to a man whose rhythm quietly shaped a global movement and connected people across cultures, generations, and borders. As the news of Sly Dunbar's passing spread, the reaction was immediate and emotional. Musicians, fans, producers, and cultural leaders all expressed the same feeling. Something irreplaceable had been lost. By the time the funeral day arrived, it was clear that this would not be a small or private farewell. Jamaica was preparing to honor one of its most important musical figures, and the world was watching. The day began with a heavy sense of reflection. Long before the service officially started, fans gathered near the funeral venue. Some arrived early in the morning, standing quietly, holding vinyl records, old concert tickets, and handmade signs. Others simply came to be present, to share the moment with people who understood what Sly Dunbar's music meant to them. There was no rush, no noise, and no sense of spectacle. Instead, there was calm, patience, and respect. Inside the venue, the atmosphere reflected the personality of the man being remembered. The setup was simple and dignified. Near the front stood a photograph of Sly Dunbar alongside a carefully placed drum kit. It was a powerful image. No elaborate decorations were needed. For those who knew his work, that drum kit represented decades of innovation, discipline, and influence. It reminded everyone that Sly spoke most clearly through rhythm. Family members sat in the front rows, surrounded by close friends and longtime collaborators. Their expressions showed quiet strength, mixed with visible emotion. Sly Dunbar was a global icon to the world, but to them, he was family. In a brief message, the family thanked fans and the music community for the overwhelming support. They spoke about his dedication to music, his humility, and his belief that the work should always matter more than recognition. As the service continued, recordings of Sly's most influential rhythms played softly. These were not chosen to entertain, but to remind everyone why his absence felt so heavy. The beats were familiar, steady, and timeless. Many people closed their eyes as they listened, nodding gently, allowing the music to speak in a way words could not. Outside the venue, the scene was just as meaningful. Fans filled the surrounding area, standing shoulder to shoulder, yet remaining quiet. Sound systems played classic reggae tracks connected to Sly's work, but at a lower volume than usual. This was not a celebration in the traditional sense. It was a moment of listening. People shared stories quietly, pointing out songs that changed their lives or inspired them to pick up an instrument. What truly made this tribute stunning was how far it reached beyond Jamaica. Within hours, similar gatherings began appearing around the world. In London, reggae clubs announced tribute nights dedicated entirely to Sly Dunbar's music. In New York, radio stations paused their regular programming to honor him with extended segments focused on his influence. In Toronto and other cities with strong Caribbean communities, DJs and musicians came together to play his work and share memories. Social media reflected the same tone. Instead of short messages or trending hashtags, fans posted long reflections. Many admitted that they had grown up listening to reggae without fully realizing how much of it was shaped by Sly Dunbar's drumming. Others shared how studying his rhythms helped them understand timing, groove, and restraint. One fan wrote that Sly taught the world that power in music does not come from volume, but from control. Musicians also shared their thoughts, often emphasizing his professionalism and discipline. Producers described how once Sly set the rhythm, the rest of the track seemed to organize itself naturally. Fellow drummers spoke about his ability to do exactly what a song needed, never more, never less. To many in the industry, he was not just a collaborator, but a foundation. Much of the day's conversation returned to his partnership with Robbie Shakespeare. Together, they formed one of the most influential rhythm sections in music history. Their work shaped reggae, dub, and dancehall, while also crossing into rock, pop, and experimental music. Despite this enormous impact, Sly Dunbar never chased attention. He avoided the spotlight and let his work speak for him, a quality that earned him deep respect. That quiet nature was reflected in one of the most memorable moments of the funeral. Near the end of the service, the music stopped completely. There was no announcement, no explanation. The silence filled the space, and no one moved. It lasted only a short time, but it felt longer. For many, it symbolized both the absence left behind and the lasting presence of his rhythm. After the service concluded, fans remained outside for hours. Some continued listening to music. Others stood silently, watching as people came and went. In Kingston, artists began painting murals in his honor almost immediately. These images appeared on walls across the city, capturing his likeness and celebrating his contribution to Jamaican culture. The speed at which these tributes appeared showed how deeply connected he was to the community. What stood out most about this farewell was its balance. It was emotional without being overwhelming. It was respectful without being distant. It showed how a life built on consistency, discipline, and quiet excellence can leave an enormous mark. Sly Dunbar never needed to announce his importance. His work made that clear. His influence will continue long after this day. Music students will keep studying his patterns. Producers will keep referencing his recordings. Listeners will keep moving to rhythms that feel timeless and alive. In that sense, this funeral was not just about loss. It was about recognition. It was about gratitude. As the day came to an end, one message stood out from fans, musicians, and leaders alike. This was not simply a goodbye. It was a thank you. A thank you to a man who gave the world a rhythm that connected people and made them feel something real. Jamaica did not just say goodbye to Sly Dunbar. It honored him the way legends are meant to be honored, in public, in unity, and with the same respect and love that his music gave to the world for decades.